I think one of the reasons I've achieved a lot of my goals this year is time for me to make a big decision. Am I going to be a doctor? Am I going to be a YouTuber in 2025? Good morning. I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic and a little bit sad this morning, but also very excited. I'm sad because it feels like our year off, our mini retirement, is drawing to an end. But I'm also excited for what this new year is going to bring. If you're new here, I'm a medical doctor who's taken a year off to pursue other things like travel and making videos like this, which we've spent pretty much the whole of 2024 doing. We're currently in a place called Mazunte, which is a small beachside town in Mexico, and we're staying in a hut. For some reason, these videos I'm always staying in a hut. We don't actually stay in huts all the time. We stay in hotels and hostels and stuff. But the hut is looking over the coastline, over the ocean. Had a beautiful sunrise this morning, and now we're here on the beach. So the beach is just 3 minutes from the hostel. Just have to walk down these marble stairs. You're gonna love it. I'm quite considerate, really. Wake up early to take you to these nice spots at sunrise. I could just take you during the middle of the day, but it wouldn't be half as nice as it is now. So count yourself lucky. I'm gonna go walk around this little corner here just for a little bit more privacy, but I do have to scramble over some rocks. That's the water around there. Alright, I'm gonna put my camera away now, just in case it gets splashed on the way around. This seems like a good spot. We're hidden behind this rock here, so this is not gonna be too bright, but it also means we've got a little bit of a time limit, so let's crack on. For our New Year celebration, we went to a Mexican electronic music festival, and I went absolutely wild and had a coffee after midday, which I never usually do. And now we're a few days into the new year, and it's time to talk about goals. And with my goals, I need to start thinking about what this new year might bring. Whether or not I will be returning to medicine, or will I be continuing making content like this. I do think now I'm at a point where I could continue this travel lifestyle, making videos, and with a bit more time, I'm sure I could earn enough money to actually live off doing this. However, my fiance has a job waiting for her that she is going back to, same job that she was in previously. She's actually returning to the same one. They gave her a whole year off, unpaid leave, which is amazing. So we do have a deadline. And also, I feel like I'm ready to return to a nice routine, having a nice base, not living out a backpack all the time. I do have a few goals this year that I'm keen to share with you. And I've been diving deep into the science of goal setting and achieving those goals, which may be of benefit of you too as you're setting your goals for 2025. Let's go. I do find it quite strange that we all just decide to make these resolutions once a year in January. Why don't we really do it at any other time of year? It's very arbitrary. It's like, oh, we've gone around the sun one more time, let's do some more resolutions. Apparently the tradition dates back thousands of years to the ancient Babylonians, but I like to think that each new year we're reminded that a year has passed and that we better crack on with what we want to do whilst we're here. And I'm a big fan of setting goals, but it's actually not really something that I've utilized properly until fairly recently in my life. It probably started a few years ago where I just wrote down 10 things that I actually wanted to achieve. I wrote it on a piece of paper. I have no idea where that piece of paper has gone. I can't really remember what I wrote, but I have a vague sense that I've achieved a lot of them. And the first time I actually set a proper goal was a fitness related goal. I wanted to achieve something called the one arm chin up, where you basically do a chin up with one arm. And I made this whole plan about how I was going to go about achieving it. To my surprise, with all the planning and my systems, I achieved it quite quickly. And I was really happy with myself to have a goal in mind, make a plan, and then actually make it to that goal. It was very, very satisfying and rewarding. And now looking back, I'm questioning, why didn't I have goals like that and plans for other aspects of my life? Goals to do with relationships, with finance, with health. It's not really something that I thought about doing until now. my goals spreadsheet. It's quite simple really. It's a table with 4 headings: category, system, short-term goal, and long-term goal. And under category, I've divided them under work, as a doctor, as a creator, relationships, partner, family, friends, health, mental, physical, and social, finance, things to buy, investments, and giving, and then finally, hobbies, travel, and adventure. Now, this is the first time I've actually done this to this level of detail, and it comes from a blend of watching my favorite YouTubers like Ali Abdaal, my hero, my guru, and ChatGPT. And you don't need to go mental like this and make a whole spreadsheet of all your goals. But there is one thing that I think you have to do above all else. So I made this video a couple of weeks ago, which is going semi-viral right now. The takeaway from that video is write down your goals. I honestly think that things didn't start changing in my life until I started to do this. And I didn't realize it was backed up by science either. So there was a study done by the Dominican University in California where they looked at 2 groups, a group that wrote down their goals and a group that didn't write down their goals. And the researchers found that the people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was 42% more likely to achieve my goals simply by writing them down, I would definitely do it. It's very low cost, very low effort. You just get a pen and a piece of paper and you write them down. Go crazy, do what you want with it, and then go tell someone. Why am I sharing my goals with you? I read a Tim Ferriss post recently on Instagram about how you shouldn't tell people your goals because by telling people your goals, you release cheap dopamine, which makes you feel like you've already achieved it and actually reduces your motivation to do it. And actually, I love Tim Ferriss, but I really disagree with this because it ignores the concept of something called accountability. And I think one of the reasons I've achieved a lot of my goals this year is through telling people. So one of my goals this year was to make 1 video per week for YouTube for 50 weeks. And I announced this to all my family, all my friends. I announced it to my subscribers. As my friend likes to put it, I made peer pressure my line manager. And notice how I didn't make my goal to be a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of views. My goal was simply to make 1 video per week, which is something within my control. And I actually made my YouTube banner. If you go to my YouTube profile, the banner says new video every Sunday. And that's mostly for me to have that deadline and have that pressure on myself to force myself to make 1 video per week. And now it's got to a point where if I haven't uploaded by Sunday, I feel like I've let my family and friends down and I feel like I've let myself down. And funny story, actually last week, I was a bit slack on the video creation. I left it to the last minute and I didn't take into account rendering time and upload time on shitty Mexican Wi-Fi. So we had this night bus to catch at 8 p.m. on Saturday and my video hadn't finished uploading by the time we had to leave.
This is commitment to the cause. So my upload wasn't done and we had to leave for our night bus at 8 and we still had like half an hour to go. So I connected to my mobile data and I've been walking on the street with my laptop in my hand. Still got 18% left, so hopefully the upload is ready in time. I never want to miss an upload.
So I had to literally carry my laptop down the street, hotspotting off my mobile phone to finish the upload. And luckily the upload finished as we arrived at the bus station.
Upload complete.
But I looked like quite the sight. I had my big backpack on, I had my laptop in my hand, just waiting for the video to upload on 4G or whatever it was. And that's accountability for you. Peer pressure is a prick of a line manager, but it will make you get the job done. Okay, so the reason you clicked on this video, it's time for me to make a big decision. Am I going to be a doctor? Am I going to be a YouTuber in 2025? And the answer is, I'm going to do both. But it's going to be different from your typical doctor. So in my work category, in my spreadsheet, I've divided my goals into doctor work and creator work. And my long-term goal for both is to find a way to work on my own terms that is energizing, that is creative, and I wake up every day wanting to do, and hopefully adds value to people's lives. And I think for me personally, to achieve this, I think I need to be self-employed. I don't know this for sure, but the only way to find out is to test it. So that's the long-term overarching goal. Notice how it's a bit vague and there's not really an endpoint. It's more of a way of living. One thing that I've noticed this year from kind of changing my lifestyle is I don't get that sick, anxious dread feeling I get before going to a typical work day in hospital. I've found that I have found a way to work that I find really energizing and motivating, and that is doing this content stuff and working online. Of course, it helps that I'm working in a riverside hostel in Guatemala, but I've learned that there are other ways to work that don't drain me like they do in typical medicine. So working backwards, I need to create some short-term goals to achieve this overarching long-term goal. And more importantly, I need systems to achieve these short-term goals. So in the YouTube example, if your goal is to become a YouTuber, the system is to upload a video once per week. Work, doctor, short-term goal. So one of my goals in the short-term doctor category is get confidence in practicing medicine again after 1 year off, explore different doctor opportunities as an unspecialized doctor. For those who are unaware, most doctors go to med school, they do some form of internship, then a residency, and then they choose a specialty training program. I've completed my residency, but I haven't chosen a specialty training program. I'm basically an unspecialized junior doctor. So when I work, I usually work under the supervision of a specialized consultant. Usually, not always. And my system for achieving this short-term doctor goal is, firstly, upon my return home, I'm going to contact my locum agent. So for those of you who don't know, a locum is kind of like a substitute doctor. So if you imagine a substitute teacher going to different schools to fill in gaps, that's what a locum doctor does. And I'm hopefully going to find some emergency jobs around the country. I'm happy to fly around Australia if I need to. But I also want to not be too tempted to take on too much work and just be chasing the money. I still want to keep my time relatively free so I can pursue the other things. And I completely understand I'm so fortunate to be in this position. I know a lot of careers, they don't have these opportunities where you can work part-time so easily. I'm very aware of my privilege to be able to do something like this. And then I had quite a nice suggestion from ChatGPT, which was schedule a monthly self-assessment to reflect on my energy levels, fulfillment, and learning from locum opportunities. So basically I'll just sit down once a month and actually reflect on what I'm doing, if I'm enjoying it, if I'm learning anything. And then I also want to set aside some time to explore other options. For example, in telehealth, I was doing a bit of telehealth work before I left for traveling, which is basically where you see patients from the comfort of your home on your laptop. It's quite nice. Before I left, I was offered a couple of different jobs in telehealth, one of which was cannabis prescribing and one of which was men's health. So I want to look into that, maybe apply to those, try it out, see if I like doing that too. Now, short-term work creator goals. So I have a few more goals in this category, one of which is to create an email newsletter, mostly so I can be independent from any platform. My heart will always be in video and video creation, but it does worry me sometimes that the only way I can reach an audience is through a certain platform. And anything can happen to those platforms. Look at the whole TikTok debacle at the moment. What if one day YouTube was also shut down? Like, I would like to have a way of reaching my audience that doesn't rely on these platforms in case anything were to happen. Work out if coaching is something I'd like to do. So after I made my video about leaving medicine and becoming a traveling hippie, I had quite a lot of people reach out to me saying they were stressed, they were burnt out, they really related to my story. A lot of them were just telling me their story, but some of them were also seeking guidance. And I didn't really feel like I was in a position to give any guidance. So I'd like to see if coaching would be useful in that situation, to be able to help them in a sort of more official way, rather than just me making stuff up on the spot. Number 3, partner with brands that I would like to work with for sponsorships. Now, I have worked with some brands, mostly on short form video over on TikTok, mostly as a direct education for myself in digital marketing rather than a proper source of income. And my goal this year would be to work with brands I actually like, that I actually use and would be happy to promote. Improve videos with better shots, better editing, better storytelling. I want my videos to be like mini movies which have the power to move people and also have valuable takeaways. I'm really happy with my progress this year and how my videos are improving, But I do watch other YouTube creators and I'm like, wow, I really want my videos to be on that level. So that's something that I want to work on this year too. So systems, the important thing. So for the first goal, the email newsletter, I'm going to do some online courses on how to create a newsletter. I think there's some free ones. There's also some paid ones. I'll explore the free ones first. Also, I'll reach out to friends who are already doing an email newsletter, learn from them how they set it up, how they go about the whole process, and maybe even reach out to non-friends, just people that I look up to online, people who I read their newsletter as well. 2, coaching. So firstly, I actually want to get some coaching for myself to see if I get any benefit from it. And I think it'll be important to reach out to different coaches because obviously there'll be a huge variability in which coach suits me. And then I also want to reach out to doctors who have done some coaching themselves. I'm part of a really awesome Facebook group called Creative Careers in Medicine. And there's a lot of doctors turned coaches on that page, a lot of doctors who work as doctors but also coach as a side hustle. So I'm going to track some of them down, send them a message, see if they can help me on this journey. Number 3, brands. I'm going to maybe start speaking to different brand managers. I did actually speak to one last year who gave me a lot of valuable advice, mostly in regards to short form video. I think it'll be useful to speak to a few different ones and also maybe reach out to some brands myself, send some emails to brands that I like, see if they're interested in working with me. Improving my videos. When I initially started this project, it was going to be 50 videos, 1 video a week for a year, and I started around July. But I've decided I'm going to continue this 1 video a week for the whole of 2025 because I've learned that consistency is so key in this game. So that's my goal this year. No matter how busy I get with work and other things, I really want to continue this, keeping up the 1 video per week. And then I also want to spend a little bit of time getting inspiration from other YouTubers. So just setting some time aside each week to consume YouTube myself, see what I like, see what I don't like, and see how I can implement it into my own content. And ChatGPT has also given me some nice suggestions. Experiment with 1 new storytelling or editing technique monthly. Join or form a mastermind group of creators for accountability and collaboration. Thanks, ChatGPT, my favorite virtual assistant. Okay, the sun is now just starting to creep up behind me. If I move back there, you can just see it there. So it's going to get a little bit overexposed very shortly. We may have to change location. Actually, I can see a nice spot just in front of me, so let's move. Okay, we have a little bit more time hiding behind this rock. Now, I could go into all my other goals under relationships, health, finance, hobbies, but it might take a little while, and I'm not sure how many of you actually care, so we'll go through it and I'll just give you little snippets. So relationships. So my overarching long-term goal for relationships is to give my loved ones my full attention regularly and also spend time with them regularly. My system for the partner, this is actually also from ChatGPT. Add a shared goal setting session with your partner at the start of the year. Align life goals for 2025 and beyond, which I really like. Another thing it suggested was plan a digital detox weekend quarterly to focus on a relationship and our mental health, which I think is an awesome suggestion. And we live in Australia. We could go on like a little road trip, we could go camping or something, not bring our phones, enjoy nature, enjoy each other's company. That sounds like an awesome extension of what this whole year of travel already has been. So the system to achieve my long-term goal with my family is to have a phone call with my parents at least once every 1 to 2 weeks and fly back once this year in 2025, fly back to the UK. And my long-term goal would actually be to fly back once a year for the rest of my life. If I can't fly back to UK, hopefully we can meet somewhere in the middle between the UK and Australia. And the same goes for all my friends back in the UK too. Now, I probably seem like a proper psycho at this point, putting all these goals in different categories of my life. But this is actually the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I'm as curious as you to see if it'll actually help. Now, I always assumed vision boarding was some woo-woo manifestation BS, and I never really paid much attention to it. But now I've learned a bit more about the science behind it, I'm really willing to give it a go. Again, it's something I've never done, but it's essentially where you create a board full of pictures and words of things that you want to achieve. And then you stick this board somewhere where you see it every single day. Now, the reason this works is there's a very interesting part of the brain called the reticular activating system, which essentially helps us survive by only allowing important information in the environment to go through and then filtering out all the unimportant information. So if you've ever noticed, if you have wanted to buy something, for example, you wanted Apple AirPods, you would suddenly start seeing Apple AirPods everywhere you looked. And that's not because more people are getting Apple AirPods. It's actually because of your reticular activating system, because your brain is deeming that as important information, so it just picks up on it. And apparently the same can be extrapolated towards goals. So by having your goals somewhere where you can see them or having a vision board, then theoretically my brain will prioritize information that helps me achieve my goals and filter out anything that doesn't help me achieve my goals. Super interesting. I'm willing to give it a go. And I think it'll be kind of fun just making a little board with all my goals on it. Let me know if you've ever done a vision board, if you found it useful. I'd be really interested to know in the comments below. So ChatGPT suggested that I do a quarterly review. Embarrassingly, I had to Google what a quarter actually was. It's what it says on the tin. It's the year divided up into quarters. So once every 3 months, I'll do a review to see how I'm progressing towards my goals. Seriously guys, if you're not using AI by now for all these different aspects of your life, you're gonna fall behind. It's so useful. It's like having a virtual assistant in your day-to-day life, and don't be afraid to use it for anything or everything in your life. So Ali Abdaal, my favorite YouTuber, my guru, he said this: when I gave myself the permission to lean into the identity of being a YouTuber, that is what allowed me to stay consistent when times got hard. And this is something that I noticed in myself too. So I've been doing this YouTube stuff for about 4 years now. And for the first 3 years, I gained about 300 subscribers, mostly due to inconsistency in posting. But a big part of the fact was I didn't have being a YouTuber as part of my identity. In fact, I was super embarrassed about making YouTube videos, and I didn't even tell my family or friends or my partner about my channel. Some of them knew I had a channel, but I didn't tell them what the name of it was. It was like my kind of dark little secret. However, when I did eventually gain the confidence to tell people about my channel, it's actually when I started seeing the most results. When I identified as being a content creator, my actions became consistent with that identity. What does a YouTuber do? Make videos. What does an author do? They write. And Tony Robbins said this: the strongest force in human personality is the need to stay consistent in how we define ourselves. If you define yourself as a procrastinator, you're going to be a procrastinator. If you define yourself as someone who can't remember names, you're going to forget the name of every person you meet. If you define yourself as a YouTuber or entrepreneur, you're likely going to do the things that those people do. So I'm going to say it now: I'm a YouTuber. It's weird for me to say, I still don't really like it, makes me feel a little bit icky. But if I want this to become part of my identity, I'm going to have to start saying it. And with that perfect timing, I think it'll be a good moment to celebrate this channel reaching 10,000 subscribers. But like I said at the start of the video, the number was never the goal. The goal was to show up once a week, every week for 50 weeks. And you are now witnessing the 35th video of that 50-week project. If you're new here, thank you for joining. Or if you've been here for a while, thank you, you are making a dream come true. And honestly, it means the world to me. It blows my mind that 10,000 people resonate enough with something that I've created to hit that little red button which says subscribe on it. And if you haven't hit that button and you watch my videos, that's also fine. I'll still be here showing up week after week. I wish you all the best for your 2025 goals, and I would love to hear what you have planned. And if you haven't written your goals down yet, this could be a perfect opportunity to write them down in the comments below, because remember, you'll be 42% more likely to achieve them. Good luck and Happy New Year. We finished the video just in time because the sun is creeping up over the rock behind me and it's starting to hit the camera. And the camera really overheats in the sun, so yeah, we made it. Time to enjoy the beach, go get some coffee, and enjoy the rest of this trip. See you next week.